Saintly corruption. All facets of society have one thing in common. Strong leadership is either saintly or corrupt. Today, saintly corruption looks at the Catholic Church's cowardly leadership under government manipulation during a COVID scamdemic. Our bishop and parish priests fear nothing except celebrating Mass with the parishioners. Talk about heavy danger attitude for the parishioners' souls. True and trustworthy leaders lead by example, and when they don't, their leadership and their rules can be, and oftentimes must be, ignored. Following is a partial list of government liars. The list of cowardly Catholic Church leaders is never ending. If interested, you can pause and read the list. Leaders who said this, but did that. If it is a pandemic, fire these leaders. Canada, Philippines, confined space, 17 hours together. Our leaders deemed this safe. Our church leaders see nothing wrong with this picture. That way, they can fly to far-off lands and use this COVID time to pamper themselves. Too many corrupt leaders, government and religious, support lies. Lies like, sitting in church for 1 hour is 1,000,000 times more dangerous than sitting on a plane for 17, flying from Vancouver to the Philippines. Right, Stephen? Right, Rectorino? But they deemed this unsafe. One more example of great leadership. 1 hour praying. Someone might get a virtuous idea. Heavy, heavy danger. Lock the damn doors. Anyone with satanic brain power knows COVID-19 is only a threat in social distancing churches, a place where the hopeful spend 1 hour asking pure love's help to become better people. Worse yet, praying for world peace or the knowledge and strength to save their son or daughter from drugs. Breaking news. The Catholic Church finally admits, by its actions, many non-Catholics are right. Yes, you can go to church, attend Mass, but missing Mass is not a mortal sin. You can worship God anywhere. And spiritual communion is equal to sacramental communion. At least when Catholic Church leaders switch sides, becoming Satan's disciples. How to know which side they are on? Take a look. Are the doors locked? If so, they switched. There are approximately 1.2 billion Catholics worldwide. What an army. Among them are thousands of retired medical professionals. Church could enlist some to check for truths and lies about COVID death counts. But that requires leadership and devotion to truth. Unfortunately, the Church's actions prove it lacks those qualities. Easier for them to lock doors, live in luxury, and serve the dark side. Patient dies from injuries sustained in a car accident, but tests positive to COVID, thus listed as a COVID death. False reporting. Patient admitted with COVID dies from that infection, is listed as a COVID death. Accurate report. The point? It is easier to be obedient when you trust those calling for your obedience, especially when those demanding obedience are and were acting with real courage. Universal daycare. Didn't vote for it. Why? Don't believe in it. Did the people send you to Victoria to represent them, or just yourself? And, while in a COVID crisis, give evidence that their leadership is just and virtuous. Yes, you can have sex with strangers, but no praying in church with strangers. Yes, you can fly to the Philippines with strangers, but you cannot celebrate Mass with strangers. Nothing stupid about this leadership. But look at us in our costumes. Don't we look important? Which begs the question, if religious leaders speak for God, then why has the church locked its doors? Maybe God ain't got nothing more to say. Correct answer. Study St. Teresa of Avila or St. John of the Cross. Like them, we suffer pathetic leadership. So, 2 questions. 1. Who does the church represent? And 2. When life ends, to whom will the people answer? God or Satan? God or government? God or man? Or just God? Throughout eternity, we will either dance with God or sing for Satan. Will today's church leaders dance for joy with God or sing the blues for Satan? Therefore comes another question. What creates a great leader? Adversity. What creates a weak leader? Pampering. They were to be God's faithful army in the battle of good and evil. But today, what is the reality of religious leadership in Western cultures? 2,000 years of pampering brought the church full circle. Once again, churches and temples are full of costume clowns, men in dresses, cowards, who have great support systems, but lack courage to stand alone when necessary. Now, what is the reality of a devout Christian's working life? Them pew-sitters are men and women who do stand alone on foreign soil every workday, defending principles among people who hate spirituality and constantly challenge their work ethics. And, while defending their morals, run the risk of losing their livelihood, hurting their families, living the faith. Big difference, eh, boys? Easy to talk if you are in the first group. Where does this leave the people of faith? The faithful watch the religious who, at the end of every workday, return to their comfortable sanctuaries with all its amenities supplied. Nearly impossible to fire any who shirk their duties or molest children. If the church collapses financially, they transfer to another country or another parish, but it is always another sanctuary with all amenities supplied. They skate free. No pain, no worries. Not the challenges we pew-sitters face defending the faith. Their comfortable lifestyle does not create giant men or good leaders in any field, which unfortunately changes the picture and the dream. They simply change sides, becoming part of Satan's army in today's war with evil. Hoorah! That new picture is cloudy, dismal, full of cowards, bullies, and liars. And where does that leave us? For now, we suffer costume clowns, enjoying a good laugh. Want the truth? They serve themselves, not pure love. Us pew-sitters treated them good old boys like caring shepherds, holding keys to the kingdom. Truth is, only keys they have are to church doors. And yes, hard as it is to believe, first time in 2,000 years, they locked them. This they did while praising their buddy Satan's great plan, and with much laughter told Satan. Most of the wannabe faithful have disappeared. Remember, they are choosing darkness. It is us pew sitters who serve pure love. And they continue their report. Better yet, that lock stops all new wannabes from bothering us. Oh, a few diehards stand outside rattling rosaries. As if that will do any good. One of the good old boys threatened the foolish rosary rattlers with arrest for trespassing, yet they keep coming back. But no big deal. They will get discouraged before we servants of Satan give up. Heard one clown say, "Don't know why them pew sitters complain. After all, we important people are served. We religious get communion every day." What are the pew sitters to do? First, if they love pure love, they are duty bound to respect, appreciate, and adore God's gift to us, a gift which flows from God's heart, down from Calvary, through the priest's hands to our hands, on its journey from his pure love to our hearts, our souls. Point of interest. Every time Jesus shared communion, he did so from hand to hand, not hand to tongue. Never in history was there a holier communion than the very first, and it went from hand to hand to hand to hand. Costumed clowns love to make rules. Thus they are brainwashed to follow rules, even those which cause them to lock the door to pure love. Lock the doors! Lock the doors! Second, we must pray for the cowardly men attached to those gifted hands. Jesus, searching for a rock upon which to build his church, found a hard-working family man. The rock he found was a fisherman, not a religious clown in a dress, sporting a goofy hat. Today, he would be wearing blue jeans. But not this guy. Illustration purposes only. Unfortunately, his representatives today are also looking for a rock, but one to hide behind. Neither Jesus nor the apostles wore a costume or uniform. Their authority was displayed by their love. Other than the cross, what could Jesus wear to signify his pure love authority? Nothing. I wonder what God thinks. Unlike his representatives today, Jesus was not a coward. Knowing the horror awaiting him upon that cross, Jesus still made the journey. His pure love for us overcame all fear, all cowardliness. Even if Caesar had locked the gate on the road to Calvary, Jesus would have traveled there via another route. Too bad his representatives today don't love like he does. Road to Calvary and the church doors closed and locked by order of Caesar and church cowards due to scamdemic. Neither the gate or his heart was or is locked. My sacred heart aches for the least of my sons and daughters, abandoned by their shepherds. Sacred Heart Cathedral is not symbolic of my Sacred Heart. My heart is never locked, not even when hung on a cross. Now, what about his shepherds today? In the meantime, being obedient puppets, It matters not to them who leads, saint or sinner, warrior or coward, God or government, as long as it is not them. They love their comfort. They love their glory. And those girls in their dresses will help Satan bar the door and spiritually starve the faithful. The way the church ran was acceptable. Joseph's insights to Vatican III. 1. You can't change the masses. They will always be the same: dumb, gluttonous, and forgetful. 2. Attaining total control. Governments must tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it. Thus people will eventually come to believe it. Locked churches prove if church leaders defend that lie, it will end with widespread spiritual death, plus the annihilation of hope for a pure love world. The Pope, cardinals, bishops, priests all get an A. They have done well in their adherence to Vatican III guidelines. Logic and pure love observations. History proves costume leaders are self-centered and thus shallow men, unable to lead wisely. Hopefully, goofy costumes and inept leadership will be nightmares of the past, discarded with their goofy hats. We see increases in suicides, alcoholism, drug overdoses, divorces, bankruptcies, loss of faith, loss of hope. Unacceptable. Hey, you local heroes, when will enough be enough? So, who is winning? Are you leaders happy now? Does it feel good being a traitor? Xi Jinping is clapping. Warning, look behind Satan. When full, dogs relieve themselves. Soon you will be a pile on the ground. Your goofy costumes and hollow worldly stations and opinions will be the stench from Satan's doo-doo. And that sinister laugh you hear won't be yours this time. Thumbs up to our great leadership. Danger, danger, heavy danger. Watch out for Costco. Hopefully they are too stupid to think of this. Costco. Damn. Now we can't lock the door. Worse yet, Costco will sell Sunday wafers, and we clowns will be out of a job. Might have to work for a living. Why? Our actions expose us liars. Obviously, we believe the host is nothing more than a wafer. So sell all you want, Costco. Some say yesterday's Jewish leadership tricked Pilate into crucifying Jesus. I say the Catholic leaders of today, although not guilty of physically crucifying Jesus, is guilty of supporting the world's attempt to eliminate all memory of Jesus and the crucifixion. Makes one wonder which group of costume clowns is guilty of committing the worst sin. For evil to remove democracy or Christianity from this earth, it must first become the leader of both. Done, done, definitely done, done, done. Trudeau, Biden, Pope Francis, Stephen, Rectorino, and the control freak list goes on and on. Wright, Pelosi, Zimmer, Schumer, Ford, CNN, CBC, and on and on. Visiting Fatima, Mary warned us. I am happy to report our wandering priest is home, safe and sound. I am so proud of him. He fought down every request to offer up the Eucharist on his flight. Had he celebrated the Eucharist on either 17-hour Philippine flight, he would have killed himself and everyone on the plane. We know that flying and violently protesting in large crowds is safe. It is the Eucharist that kills. Thank you, Rector, and a big thanks to all the other ordained priests, bishops, cardinals, and the Pope, who, through their love for God and to protect us pew sitters from the evil Eucharist, locked the church doors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. However, my dilemma, I don't see the Eucharist as evil. I see it as a great gift from God. So, I would like to physically receive it. But you guys know best. Right, Bishop? And if I don't believe you, well, I can ask any ordained clown within the church, and they will confirm your superior knowledge and love. I love the Catholic faith, but have no respect for its cowardly and selfish leadership. Only Satan, politicians, and church leaders support this warped thinking. Sitting at the Sunday drive-in, awaiting my Eucharistic takeout, the priest bombarded us with a garbage political sermon about following COVID rules. But exaggerating rules for leprosy makes them destructive in a COVID scamdemic. Only people with leprosy, and later in history, mumps, scarlet fever, etc., were quarantined, not the entire country or world, and often neighbors aided the quarantined. Those stay-at-home rules did not destroy everything in its path. However, the exact opposite is true of today's exaggerated rules. Little hope exists for the world when churches and governments gang up to destroy people. Yesteryear, when infections passed, so did most of the agony families suffered. Not so today. Cowardly religious leaders and selfish governments support suicides, encourage bankruptcies, endorse drug addiction, etc., which destroys hope. Thank God they are on our side. But we must stop idolizing these cowards. Yes, respect God's gifts that come to us through them, but quit putting them on pedestals and blindly obeying them. Those two demands slowly destroyed them, and that corruption ended much peace on earth and in families. We must work together to help God rid His church of corruption and governments of unscrupulous conduct. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and pure love. Come, pure love, fill the hearts of your faithful. Enkindle in them the fire of your Spirit. Come forth, pure love, that we be born again, thus able and willing to assist Jesus the Son, renew the face of the earth, according to God our Father's plan. And let it be done with the joy of pure love. I do not end with the sign of the cross. Thus, this is a never-ending prayer. Please join me with your never-ending prayer. Feel free to use mine.